This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And unusual for me, we are actually going to be cooking a piece of beef. This is a section of a brisket. A friend bought literally half of a cow's brisket, sight unseen, and had it delivered. When it was received, he found that he had a piece of meat about this long, about this big around at one end, tapering down to this thickness at the other, on this end containing about 40% fat, and on this end, say 5 to 10% fat. And he did not know what to do with it, particularly a piece of meat that large, since he lives alone and does not often cook for company. So I got it out of the freezer, let it thaw for a few hours so I could cut it with a serrated knife, but the inside was still frozen. And then refroze the rest and took this small piece, and we're going to be doing some test cooking on it. I'm going to use several techniques. We're going to marinate it overnight, and finally use it to make corned beef cabbage. So that's the general plan. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut some of this excess fat off. I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch on. All around on this side. Yeah, that's caught. So we're good here. We can just leave this for a while and go gathering our other wood. We've topped our fire off with cherry wood, and we're going to let that burn down and go in the house and actually start preparing the brisket. I'm going to lift the brisket and let it drain on this paper towel for a little bit. And then we're going to put on our salt and pepper rub. Now this rub also has some garlic salt in it. And the marinating water has cloves, which you probably saw, and that's because we're ultimately going to do corned beef. And as you see, we put the rub on all 4 sides. If I was going to do more cooking today, I would save this marinade and use it for the next piece of meat. But since I'm not, I'm going to go ahead and toss it. While the salt and the other ingredients in the rye rub are being absorbed in the meat, the fire is coming along nicely. This is the cherry wood I put on. It's all caught, it's burning well. We won't put the meat on until we've actually got coals. We are now down to coals, as you can see. Now I've got some cherry wood soaking, and that's going to provide the smoke. And here we go, meat on the grill, fat side down. Nice good sound. You're going to let that sit and work for a while. Then flip it and then put our damp wood in there for smoking. The temperature has reached 375 degrees. I want some of that rind fat, for want of a better term, to actually get down into the meat itself. So I'm going to flip it now and let it cook at a higher heat on the other side for a while. The temperature is 375 degrees again, and it's been cooking for about 5 minutes on that side. So I'm going to open the grill and put in some wet cherry wood to generate more smoke. Now traditionally, if you're cooking brisket, you want to keep the temperatures about 225 degrees, not 375. And cook it for longer, but I just don't have that capability with this kind of cooker. Now some would call that done, but no, it's far from done. Yes, you could eat it, but well, I wouldn't recommend it. Not unless you've got awful good teeth and jaws. That's our wet wood. Put it back fat side down. Close it up and leave it alone. Adding the wet soaked wood has dropped the temperature down immediately to 300 degrees rather than 375 where it was. It's climbing a little bit right now, but I don't expect it to get very much hotter. And we are generating now more smoke, which is exactly what is desired. And the smoke is white. It's not black and sooty as you might suspect, but yeah. Now we can control that a little bit by monitoring the amount of air going through the system. It's windy and blowing, which is complicating things. So this is a very difficult operation to control. This is a small piece of brisket, cooked mainly at 325 degrees, and as you can see, somewhat charred on the fatty side. But I think that's about as far as I care to take it on this grill. Our brisket here is fairly well charred all around. So I'm going to scrape it a little bit. And this is basically removing that fat layer. Now, is it done? Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's done. The trick is it tender enough to eat? And the answer is probably no. But because everyone, including me, wants to know if it's cooked, the answer is yes, it's cooked. Okay, see what it tastes like. It's edible. Tough. So I think maybe we can skip a step. Put this with cabbage directly in the crock pot. We've cut our exterior leaves off our cabbage, and we're going to make a little coleslaw with those. We've added our meat and cabbage to the pot. We took our seasoned oil and we poured that over the top of the meat, and then we put the meat in the pot. We're going to add a little of our salt and pepper seasonings, and then we're just going to fill it with water and leave it on there until supper time. Well, let's see how our barbecued brisket cabbage turned out. Well, it did get tender. Now that it is. Okay, we accomplished that aim. The meat itself, because it was boiled again, has lost a bit of its flavor, so I need to put a little more salt and pepper on that. And the cabbage, certainly done. A little discolored. The cabbage did pick up a little of the smoky flavor. A little pepper. Yeah. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the rub on it, and I think that'll help it considerably. The boiling really did leach the flavors away, but added back with a little butter, a little more of the salt and seasonings. Yeah, and this is a good meal.